This video is going to be a review of a simple Java program that uses string variables. So I've opened Dr. Java, created a new file, and on the first line I'm going to give the program a name. I'm going to call this one string review, and the name of your program can never have any spaces, and the entirety of your program is going to be contained within these curly braces. Now, the first thing I have to do is save it. So I'm going to copy this name, click Save, and this should pre-populate, but if it doesn't, we want to type in the name of our program, and it should also default to a .java file. So I'm going to finish hitting save, and I'm going to compile just to test that it worked. So it completed without errors, even though our program doesn't do anything. It's just the name of a program, or with Java, the name of a class. Now, since our program has to start somewhere, I'm going to add a main method. And this is string with a capital S, and then brackets. And the main method is the entirety of our program so far, and that's where all the action takes place. And this line is simply where our program begins. Now, the most basic form of output is a print line statement. And simple statements, or any statement for that matter in programming, ends with a semicolon. The only exception is when we have a block of code, and in that case a block of code is defined by what's between the curly braces, and since that's a whole block of code, we don't put a semicolon. So I'm going to compile this and run it, and as you can see, there's my output. Now, regarding string variables, a variable is simply something we can create that can store some information for us. So in order to do that, I have to declare that a string exists. So I might call something like string input, and that line declares that a variable named input exists. And that it's a string. And a string is anything we can type in from the keyboard, and it usually shows up between quotes. So even if we type in numbers, please know that it won't have a numerical value. It would just be the character that looks like a number. And then we can give it an initial value, and if we don't know what to put in there, we can leave it blank. Now, what's really cool is that we can change a variable just by setting it equal to something. So strings always have to be in quotes. So if we were to change the variable to that, we could print it out down here just by referencing the variable. So I'm going to compile and then run, and as you see, string review output the phrase hello world, those words, which is the value of this variable. Now we can concatenate things by putting a plus in the print statement and anything else we want in quotes. So this is going to join this phrase along with hello world. So if I compile and run, notice I have those combined. If I wanted a blank space, I could put that there like that. I can also create as many variables I want. So I could create something called input2 or give it a completely different name. then notice the blank spaces don't matter here in Java, whether I put a blank space here like I did in this line or not, nor does hitting enter. So I've created a second variable, given it no information inside of it, but let's say we wanted to get it from the user. We could then use a JOption pane to get information for that. So we could do input2 equals JOption pane dot show input dialog and then give the user some instructions. Now if I compile this, it'll tell me it probably can't find the JOption pane, can't find the symbol, so I need to import that technology. And this is something you just have to copy from a past program once you're running. It's import javax.swing.star, and that brings on all these swing graphic technologies. So when I run this, it says type something, and I've stored that in input2. Now to display what I've stored, I could use a system.outprint, or I could use another JOption pane. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to put input2 there. Now notice I don't have anything right here setting it equal to input2. So whatever the user types in this second one isn't going to be listened to, but it will display what the user types in response to that prompt. So I'm going to compile, that saves my changes, and run. I'm going to type something in, and it's taking it back, or showing it back to me. Now if I enter something here, remember there's no variable right here that this is being stored in, so that would go away. If I wanted to rewrite it, or overwrite the variable, the value in the variable, I could do something like that. And then whatever I type in would overwrite this variable, if and only if I needed to do that.